Good morning, all. You know how I like to get late night videos of the crabs doing their thing, because that's most likely when they're going to be active since they are nocturnal. There's my nursery sticker. Hermie, Sydney, Gypsum, Phillip, Peggy, Houdini, Boson, and Quark. All of the babies and other sizes that are in there. I do believe this one might be Phillip. Not 100% sure. Can't see the claw because Peggy, we call her Peggy because she's missing a little bit of an end of an appendage. As you can see, they've been chucking the apples around. We've got our moss pit all nice and misted. I did change the saltwater pool today, cleaned the rope and kind of readjusted it for the babies so they could kind of climb straight up into their net and into a shell shop, either on this end and also that one end is connected as well. So we've got the freshwater pool, of course, with the substrate. Here, I'm going to zoom back a little bit. All right. So you can see, I've got my terrarium set up. I did move this terrarium a little bit. I'll try and go around this other side. Of course, you probably won't be able to see because of the writing. So I'll try and get a view from maybe... We'll back up. Okay, so there's an air plant and a terrarium back there. I have it facing the pool, but it looks like they've moved it. So they must have been playing in it. That's pretty cool. And then of course we have this air plant right here, and we do need to build a bridge for that one. So that's going to be one of the first things we do when we get our hemp supply. As you can see up there, we've got Hermie sunning himself. We'll go up top here in a minute and take a look at that, but I'm just trying to get you a picture of some of the babies. They are awful hard to catch. Up there is one of our, I considered him a baby until we got our babies. So, I'm just going to call him a young, a youngin. So he's our youngin. He was playing, I wish I would have got it. That's why I ran to get the camera, was because he was playing with one of the cubes that we got. Shout out to the Etsy girl who sold me the baby pack. This is their Etsy site right here. Check it out if you need a baby pack, because I know a lot of you will probably be wanting to get Mary Acres captive bred babies. I know I am definitely, someday that's a goal. I mean, right now we've got plenty of babies to take care of, guys. I mean, they may not be captive bred. I don't know. They may be part of Mary's program. Depending on who she's, selling her babies to, and, but I doubt she would let anybody ship crabs. But during coronavirus, I don't know what other choices you have. So we've got some moss under there. I'm kind of like, move the moss around. I'm actually going to turn off. There we go. So we get less of a glare so you guys can see maybe a little better. We've got a cute little face coming up here. I do believe, like I said, that is Phillip. Hopefully he'll be coming up into view here soon. We'll see what he's doing. He's definitely interested in the camera. He's kind of a camera. Well, he's interesting in general. We'll just put his personality that way. All right, it's a little bit better view of the terrariums. And that pot back there was also made by this store. And it's awesome. It is my baby pot, where I keep their shell shop closer to the ground. It is partially buried up to the shell, basically, where she put the shells on is where I basically buried it to. Regular old terracotta pot. In the bottom, I put moss, moistened it, and then put the shells on top. So the babies have their own shell shop, so that way they do not have to fight for the bigger shells up here, and which they just aren't going to fit into anyways. So, it's just a custom baby shell shop, basically. I do believe we have a baby crawling around here. Let me see. And go. We just put in some seaweed today. Since most of the food items were good from what we had yesterday, I'll kind of give you an overview of what I got in the tank food-wise. So right now, we've got some homemade dried apples that I made last night. coated in honey, dehydrated for 7 hours. There are some raisins, blueberries in there. And then this is for the babies. It is a mixture of shells, lobster and crab, egg shells, of course, but also crab shells and lobster shells. I put a pistachio in there, unsalted, just to see for kicks and giggles if they'd be interested in it at all as either a play toy or a food item. And then we've got worm casings under that. And then this one is their potato and squash meal. And then, of course, I do provide fresh vegetables over here for the babies, so they have maybe a safer place to eat away from the adults, which, as you can see, one of the babies is partaking in now. He's very interested in the writing on the wall, as well as his food dishes. You know, he's kind of been dragging that little apple around there. Small but mighty, let me tell you, these guys. So over here, you'll see this shell moving a little bit over by the moai head. That would be Sydney. Sydney went down for a molt and then just came up, man. Just decided not to molt all of a sudden. Sorry, Sydney. So, there's Sydney. And then, let's see who else we have here. So, right in there, in the moss pit, let me zoom out so you can see it a little better. You will see a shell with some legs coming out of it, and that would happen to be Gypsum. Like I said, are what I considered baby before, but now is definitely what I would consider to be more of a, you know, a child instead of a baby. And then we have our big boy, our alpha the tank, sleeping next to him. That is our alpha Hermie. He is not waking up right now for anything. He does not care if the camera's on or not. As for anyone else, let's see. Up under the shell shop, usually we have some babies. And behind the shell shop sometimes, which I do not see any. So, I guess let's go over and visit Phillip and see what he's up to. No, still the same spot. Houdini you will never find. We do have a crab in our tank. He's a baby. His name's Houdini. The reason why we named him Houdini is because he's nuts. Basically, when we were doing skin to skin to warm them up because the heater failed, when our crabs were shipped, we had to do a little bit of skin to skin to heat them up. Kept them misted, you know, that whole thing, make sure their gills were happy, and also that they could feel our heartbeat, and hopefully that would wake them up from their cold slumber. You know, better than burying them in the soil, also gets them accustomed to you feeding them and getting in their tank to change things around, so they're not quite so scared when you get in there. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's mommy and daddy. Or, you know, Lucian, who's also, you know, doing all the care, as part of his homeschool project. So, basically, Houdini just decided to run away from the other crabs, Quark and Boson, brothers, sisters, whatever they are. We're not sure on sexes yet. But he was the first one to come out of his shell. He looks like a purple pincher, but with ruggy features. I don't know if they actually co-breed, since they are, you know, maybe they could meet in nature. I don't know. But I'm just gonna tell you, he's a weirdo. Found him in Daddy's pillow. So we call him Houdini because he's an escape artist. So yeah, he's special. I'm trying to see if any other movement we got going on here. Sometimes if I'm quiet, you know, but I think Sydney knows he's being filmed, and Sydney is camera shy, I guess is the way I would describe him. But yeah, so I mean, we can try and wake some guys up. I don't want to be, you know, like super intrusive, as I just got in there earlier today, like I said, and I did some basic stuff in here. Of course, my mister that I keep, my great grandmother's light that I'm using until I get my heat lamp. Use what you got, folks. Those old lights, man, they put off some heat. I'll tell you what, this Edison bulb, Edison knew what he was doing, although it was Tesla, but you know, hey, we all know. So, there, oh no, that is our beautiful Hermie. Okay, so he switched shells from that one to evidently that one. I'm going to go ahead and lift this off. and talk to him so you guys can kind of see his personality. Hi, Hermie. Hi, Hermie. You are live on YouTube, buddy. On your very own channel. Yep, you're the alpha of the tank. You're the star of the show. Do you like your crabitat? Yeah, see, it's late. I'm not really feeling like coming out all the way. I'll wiggle my pinchers for you, but that's about it. So, we do have a baby over here, I believe. So, I mean, my hands are small, so I mean, you can tell these little guys are itty bitty. Itty bitty. So when I say babies, I mean babies. And just for comparison, Gypsum's up. Let's see if Gypsum will come out. Hey, Gypsum. Now, I don't recommend handling your hermit crabs, obviously, too much, but Gypsum is one of our more friendly fellas. And he wanted to go back, and that's what he will do. He's a very independent crab. He's one of our more colorful in the community. Not shell-wise, but of course personality-wise. I will go ahead and pick up Sydney for you. I cannot guarantee that Sydney will make an appearance. Sydney? 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 Well, I'll at least pick up the shell and turn Sydney over. And you see, there's some movement there. Sydney's just not feeling like coming out. Maybe if I turn on the light, we'll see. We've got the cage open. They do like light. Hey, Sydney, you want a pretty pose for the camera, or are you not feeling it tonight? If you're not feeling it, that's cool. You're definitely the beta of the tank, so you always get to choose, my friend. I'm going to put you back to sleep. See, he likes to sleep in the shell shop, so I always make sure he's got comfort. Make sure he's not crushing the other baby in there. We've got 3 in there right now. Sydney. Now that's Peggy. And that's Gypsum. And Hermie. And Phillip. As to where Quark and Boson and Houdini are, most likely one. Evidently, they've been knocking down their plants. They do this quite often. It's kind of like a fun game. Like, hey, Mommy, I just knocked down all my plants. Would you mind cleaning them up for me? Okay, cool. Sometimes, if you look down in there, you'll see a crab. I do not know, though. I do not see one. But that does not mean there is not one there. I'll use my light from my phone to look and see if we've got babies. Alright, so I'm not seeing the other guys. Not quite sure where they crawled off to. They're good little hiders, that's for sure. Hermie's coming out a little bit. He's kind of interested in what's going on. He usually is. We got Gypsum over here clicking away. I'm surprised I don't see any more babies. I'll say the 2 babies that are still in their original shell I think Houdini has chain shells. I'm pretty sure that's Houdini. I'm not 100% sure though. Quark and Boson are kind of hard to tell apart. They are both the same exact size. I do not see Quark and Boson. Does not mean they're not in there though, guys. Just because you don't see your crabs, don't worry. Sometimes they will go ahead and bury themselves. It is usually for molt or stress reasons. So if you see your crabs burying, probably leave them alone. They're probably stressed. It happens. Sometimes I check behind the moai to see if they've dug down. Nope. Yeah, and you just never know what where the babies are going to be, honestly. Well, anyways, that's everybody. Say goodbye, Hermie. We're going to sign off for the night. All right, bye, folks.